This is Ira, and welcome to Ocean Liners on Print, where we travel through ocean liner history via my collection of ocean liner memorabilia and research. This is your key source for exciting ocean liner content. In this presentation, we will discuss the reasons behind the longevity of the Queen Mary's role as a tourist attraction versus the failure of the Queen Elizabeth as the tourist attraction, Elizabeth, Queen of the Seas. Everyone, I'm sure, has heard about the Queen Mary Hotel. Has anyone heard of the exhibit role of the retired Queen Elizabeth called Elizabeth, Queen of the Seas? Why has the Queen Mary Hotel stayed in business from 1970 to today, and the Queen Elizabeth in its retired role lasted less than 2 years, from 1969 to the later part of 1970? It has to do with planning. The Elizabeth, Queen of the Seas, was opened 2 months after delivery with little, if any, planning. The Queen Mary was rehabilitated over a nearly 3-year period, and extensive planning was done. Let's visit. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Let's visit the brochure from the Queen Mary Hotel from the 1980s. The Queen Mary offered many reasons for people to visit and return, unlike the Queen Elizabeth. It has not been smooth sailing for the Queen Mary, but because of extensive planning, she has been able to weather the storm. She has built a reputation and provides many reasons to visit. This brochure for the Queen Mary from around 1991 is proof. This continues today. In this brochure, visitors can also tour the Howard Hughes developed plane, the Spruce Goose. The theme, Ghosts, Myths, and Legends, is a big attraction that is as popular today as it ever was. On land was London Town exhibit, which doesn't exist today, but offered wine tasting, glass blowing, souvenir shop, bakery, Mexican restaurant, and game room. Here is the Spruce Goose exhibit, which does not exist anymore. You can take a Queen Mary audio tour. And here we have facts about the Queen Mary. Tales of the Unknown. Tour the engine room, the dark secrets and supernatural. You can take a tour of Tales of the Unknown, as well as of the engine room for dark secrets, as well as the supernatural. There is also the Haunted Passages experience. Exhibits throughout the ship include the engine room, the bow, staterooms, wheelhouse and bridge, lifeboat demonstration, sun deck celebrity tales. And now for the brochure of Elizabeth, Queen of the Seas. We're going to start off with various scenes of the ship during its Cunard service. However, when showing the forward part of the superstructure, they made a mistake. They're actually showing the Queen Mary. The brochure mentions the contributions of the Queen Elizabeth to the war effort. Its post-war career is barely mentioned. Ironically, when mentioning the ship in retirement, it mentions her awaiting thousands of visitors that will, quote, once again bring her decks alive, close quote. Quote, here the Elizabeth will be accorded the loving care of skilled custodians who will preserve and protect the Queen of the Seas for generations yet unborn to know, close quote. Unfortunately, neither of these came to fruition. The back cover of the brochure states the statistics of the ship, such as Steamed 3,472,672 miles. Wartime passengers 811,324,000. Wartime passengers 811,324. Peacetime passengers 1.5 million. Length 1,031 feet. Breadth or width 118 feet. Service speed 28.5 knots. Power 160,000 horsepower. Boilers 12. Propellers 4. Rivets and hull 10 million. Watertight compartments 131. Elevators 28, which is a lot for a ship of 1938 vintage. Whistles 3, audible for 10 miles. 700 clocks, 680 telephones, 4,000 miles of electrical wiring. And above the map, quote, visit one of America's foremost visitor attractions, close quote. All of these statistics and being a foremost visitor attraction, but why? The brochure doesn't give a reason to get excited about visiting. If you visited, you toured the ship, and maybe you ate on board, and that was it. The Queen Mary Hotel is a hotel, a convention center, a business center, and a tourist attraction. There are reasons to return to the Queen Mary. There are reasons once on board to stay on board the Queen Mary. There are multiple venues every day in addition to tours, restaurants of all levels, and hotel rooms, business meetings, banquets, and weddings. As an example, here is an announcement for a train show on board. Over the years, the Queen Mary has become a fixture for the city of Long Beach. The future for the Queen Mary Hotel is bright. Unfortunately, poor planning bit the Elizabeth, Queen of the Seas. Converting a large ocean liner to a tourist destination requires planning and investment. As the former Queen Elizabeth, aka Elizabeth, Queen of the Seas, literally received the short end of the stick compared to the Queen Mary, Elizabeth, Queen of the Seas, closed in less than 2 years. It was sold to C.Y. Tung and made the ride to Hong Kong, where, while being converted to the CY's University, succumbed to fire and was declared a total loss. I hope you enjoyed this presentation about the Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth being repurposed as tourist attractions. What did you like most? The cavalcade of reasons in print to visit the Queen Mary versus the lack of for the Elizabeth, Queen of the Seas. The Queen Mary offering reasons to stay on board and for returning for subsequent visits. Poor planning for the Queen Elizabeth meant poor results and a short life as an exhibit. A bright future for the Queen Mary Hotel. Please place your comments in the comments box below. Remember to hit the subscribe button to receive the latest exciting ocean liner content. Thank you from Ocean Liners on Print.